if kulang yung ibibigay ko sa nanay kong sukli, let's say 249 lang yung meron ako, mahabang litanya yan. Mahabang usapan yan. So after I shared with you all of the expenses for the past 2 years and how much I had when I first got here in Australia, I guess the next question is, paano ko napagkasya lahat? Paano ko nakakabili ng daily needs ko at the same time nakakaipon ng pangbayad sa tuition? Nung first few months na nagkaroon ako ng work, of course, hindi pa naman ganun kadami yung clients ko. So I only had one client for my writing gig back then, and then I also just had the hotel work. So yun lang yung mga work ko before. So talagang medyo ipit-ipit talaga ng pera. And then the tuition fee had to be paid every quarter. So every 3 months, within 3 months, I had to save up $7,577 on top of the money that I needed for my daily expenses. So, nung time na yon, talagang sobrang stress ko pagdating sa budget because I had to be very, very, very wise with how I spend my money. Otherwise, wala akong may pangbabayad sa tuition for that quarter, for that term. So, dun sa 3 months na yon, talagang super keep track ako ng lahat ng expenses ko. And then, I had to make sure na by the time na magbabayad na ng tuition, meron akong enough money. So, talagang ganun siya ka-stressful. So, every quarter, makakaipon ako ng just enough para makapagbayad ng tuition. And then, nakakatawa kasi pagka yung bank account ko, abot na ng 7,577, di ba? So, I had enough tuition. Let's say, mga 7,700 or mga 8,000 yung pera ko sa bangko. Si-screenshot ko yun kasi it was such a victory for me to have that much money in my bank account. Tawa siguro mga I will let it sit in the bank account for about mga 1 day, 2 days, ganyan. And then, bago ko siya ibabayad. And then, syempre, pagkabayad ko ng tuition, balik na naman sa $100, $200 yung matitira sa akin. So, repeat again yung proseso ng pag-iipon, yung pagtatrabaho, hanggang sa makaipon ka ulit, hanggang sa masa-stress ka ulit, tapos makabayad ka ulit, tapos uulit-ulit. I had to be very creative with how I manage my money. So, paano ko nga napagkasya? So, I have a few tipid tips dito sa Australia. First and foremost, huwag kang bumili kung hindi mo kailangan. Okay? Very simple. So, for the 2 years na nag-aaral ako, halos for that entire duration, I did not buy anything new. Wala akong bagong sapatos, walang bagong damit. 2 maleta lang dala ko dito sa Australia, plus isang backpack. So, kung ano lang yung dala ko from the Philippines, yun lang lahat ng gamit ko dito. Which was new for me kasi of course in the Philippines, hindi naman ako maraming pera sa Pilipinas, pero I had money to buy what I needed and to buy what I wanted. So, kung may nagusto ko na bagong sapatos, bagong damit, nabibili ko siya. But dito, during the time na nag-aaral ako, talagang hinayang ako pagkagagastos ako for an item na hindi naman necessity. And then next tipid tip, when it comes to groceries, so yung mga grocery store dito are called Woolworths or Coles or Aldi. Yan yung mga tatlong malalaking grocery store. And nakakatuwa because every week they run promotions na meron silang items that are on sale for as much as 50% off. Every week, naglalabas sila ng catalog kung ano yung mga items on sale. So, bilang very konti lang yung pera ko, abangers ako dyan sa catalog na yan. So, every week, chinecheck ko yung catalog ng Coles and ng Woolworths kung ano yung mga sale items nila for that week. And then, ililista ko na yun kung ano yung mga naka-sale, mga 50% off. Tapos, and then I will make it a point na bilhin siya while it's on sale. Except, of course, yung mga items like mga fresh produce, mga manok, baboy, baka, itlog, gulay. Those items do not go on sale. So, kung magsisale man sila, a few dollars off lang. But, some items, let's say, mga peanut butter, milk, Milo, yan, dati nagmamilo pa ako, mga delata, yan, mga pasta, mga sabon panlaba, mga sabon panligo, shampoo, conditioner, yung mga items na yun, talagang nag-sale siya ng 50% off. yung mga produkto na alam kong nagpi-50% off, hindi ko binibili ng full price. Syempre, iintayin natin siya mag-sale, di ba? Kasi kung alam mo na nagpi-50% off siya, bakit mo siya bibilin sa full price? Okay? That's a tip. Next tipid tip in terms naman of transportation or pamasahe. It's called an opal card. You need this whenever you ride any public transportation here in Sydney. So, kung tram, train, bus, mga ferry, yan, you need to tap on when you get on and then you tap off also when you get off. So, loloadan mo lang yung opal mo and then every time you tap on and tap off, mababawasan lang yung load mo. Then you just need to top up your load every time. So, kahit sa pamasahe, nakadiscover din ako ng mga tipid tips. Okay, so, pagka nag-travel ka ng off-peak hours, you get a 30% off sa pamasahe. So, sa mga lakad ko na hindi naman time-bound, I make it a point na hindi ako bumabiyahe dun sa peak hours. So, peak hours dito in the morning is 6:30 a.m. hanggang 10 a.m. Peak hours yun. And then, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., peak hours naman sa hapon. Another tipid tip, kapag ka nag-tap off ka, halimbawa, bumaba ka sa tren, kapag ka sumakay ka ulit sa tren, within 60 minutes, within 1 hour, libre yung pamasahe mo. So, meron 60-minute window para, kumbaga parang makakarry over pa rin yung pamasahe mo. Alam, yung ginagawa ko dati, kapag nung bago pa ako dito, pagka yung mga gusto ko lang mag-sightseeing, maglakad-lakad kung saan-saan, ganyan. So, bababa ako sa mga train station. Tapos, maglalakad-lakad ako, picture-picture. Pero inaorasan ko yung sarili ko. Minimake sure ko na within 60 minutes, nakapag-tap on na ulit ako, nakasakay na ulit ako, para yung pamasahe ko, hindi madadagdagan. O, diba? Kahit sa mga ganon. Ayun. So, nakakatipid din ako sa opal pagdating doon. Apart from that, of course, very, very, very important na marunong ka maghawak ng pera. Money management tips. I would like to think that my mother trained us well in terms of how to handle money. So my first tip siguro would be don't spend more than you earn. Have a definite idea of how much you have and how much you're earning, and then spend according to that money that you have. During my first few months, since I only had $2,000 in my pocket, and I'm thinking of tuition fees of up to 60,000 pesos, which back then I didn't have any idea how I would pay. And wala pa akong trabaho nun. So, one experience that I had was during my first few months. So, I love chocolates, right? I love sweets. Even buying one bar of chocolate, I had to think long and hard on whether or not I will buy it. And we're talking about, I think, $1 or $2 lang yata yung favorite kong chocolate dito. I had to think long and hard kung bibilin ko ba siya. Because every dollar counts. And I know that I only had so much and wala pa akong trabaho. And so, I was really, 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 really kuripot. Right now, pag kinukwento ko siya, parang it's just a small thing, right? Bayan, bibili ka lang naman ng chocolate. But back then, I was really sad. It made me sad that parang I gave up that life in the Philippines na meron akong capability to buy whatever I want. And then here, I put myself in a situation where I couldn't even buy myself a bar of chocolate. So don't spend more than you earn. Be very, very wise. Credit cards increase your spending capacity because it allows you to buy something now, even if you don't have the money. And it's fine. It's totally fine. There are a lot of benefits to credit cards. I myself have 2 cards, and to be honest, malaking tulong talaga siya. But only if you have the discipline to handle the utangs. Okay? It can be very dangerous. To be honest, hindi kumikita sa akin yung mga credit card company because all of my credit cards are always fully paid. I never pay interest. I never leave anything unpaid. Number 1 turo yun sa akin before ng mom ko. So, it's not really bad na umutang ka. Ang masama kapag hindi ka nagbayad. Okay? Number 2 tip, keep track of your expenses. My mom used to have a long ledger, actually several ledgers of money in and money out, and I grew up seeing her filling out those ledgers. So, nagkukwenta. Kwenta ng kwenta, wala namang kwenta. Wala namang kwenta. So, yun ang kinalakihan ko. And then, during college, I was in a boarding house in Quezon City. And my mom is in Muntinlupa. She just gives me allowance every week. And then, every weekend, pag uwi ko sa Muntinlupa, I have to present her with an entire listahan of how I spent my allowance for that week. So, for instance, if I had 1,000 for that week, kailangan kada sentimo ng 1,000 pesos na yon naka-take into account, nakalista. So, meron kaming coupon bond, isang buong bond paper, hahatiin namin siya into 4. So, mga ganyan kalalaking papel, tas naka-staple every 7 pieces kasi for 7 days. And then, every day, nakalista dyan, 7 pesos pamasahe, 20 pesos lunch, 5 pesos tinapay or whatever I bought that day nakalista, and then yung total for that day. And then at the end of the week, bago ko umuwi sa Muntinlupa, kailangan ko siyang i-total. So if I had 1,000 pesos na binigay sa aking allowance for that week, and then my total expenses was just 750, I have to give back 250 pesos sa nanay ko. If kulang yung ibibigay ko sa nanay kong sukli, let's say 249 lang yung meron ako, mahabang litanya yan. Mahabang usapan yan. Bakit kulang yung sukli? Saan mo ginastos? Ano nangyari? Ba't hindi mo kinip track? Ganyan. Tapos syempre ako, I was 16, 17 years old at the time. Of course, ano ba yan ma? Piso lang eh. Ano ba yan ma? 50 lang yung nawawala. Baka ginastos ko, nakalimutan ko na lang ilista. And then she would always tell me na, alam mo, pag nagtatrabaho ka na, hindi ganyan. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin sa boss mo na nawawala yung pera na ipinagkatiwala sa department nyo or sa'yo. Yan. And so, natuto ako. So, hanggang kasingku-singkuhan talaga, kailangan you have to take that into account. That was me for 4 years. So, I guess that helped me to realize the value of money. It was my sister's hard-earned money. So, I had to be very responsible with how I spend it. And my mom was a really, really good teacher in terms of finances. Natuto ako that way on how to manage my money. So, keep track of your expenses. I used to do that here. So, every day naglilista ako ng daily allowance ko, ng daily expenses ko. But, it can be tiring also. Lalo na kung wala ka naman masyadong pera. Hindi, joke lang. Back in the Philippines, ang ginagawa ko naman is every 50 quincenas katapusan, wini-withdraw ko na lahat ng pera ko. And then, ini-stapler ko na sila kung para saan sila. This is my savings, naka-stapler na yan. And then, this is for pambayad sa credit card, naka-stapler na yan. This is pangbigay sa bahay, naka-staple na siya. And then, yung pera lang na loose in my wallet is the allowance that I have for until the next sweldo. So, that way, I was able to, parang segmentize also my money and manage it wisely. Which leads me to my last tip, which is spend wisely. Okay? So, make sure to segregate the wants versus the needs. Make sure also to look for good value for your money. So, there may be cheaper alternatives that would give you the same result. Okay? So, dito hindi rin ako masyadong picky. Hindi rin ako masyadong ma-brand pagdating sa mga damit or pagdating sa mga gamit sa bahay or mga shampoo, ganyan. If it works, it works, diba? Mga sabong panlawa, hindi ako masyadong nag-spend on the more expensive stuff. Okay na ako dun sa basta basic and gumagana and then works for me. That's it. I'm good with that. That's it. So I hope the Tipid tips and the money management tips were helpful, and see you guys on the next vlog.